Hello, this is the Try Line Podcast. I'm your host, Bo. I'm here with my mate, Danny,
Hello.
and we talk about rugby league. What are we going to talk about this week?
So this week we're going to start the episode off with will Benji Marshall get another contract in the NRL? Um, my thoughts on this whole thing, I think he's still a decent player and he's still got quite a bit left to offer. He could potentially help with mentoring some younger halves. For example, I like him going to the Brisbane Broncos. They've got a couple of young halves up there in Tommy Dearden and
Brody Croft.
Jesus, Brady Croft, that's the one.
Yeah.
Forget his name. Always forget his name. So yeah, maybe somewhere like that. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon that'd be a right fit for him. They got that Sean O'Sullivan as well, so that's not a bad fit. I'm going down the same direction. I think he can earn another contract, and I think he can add value to a side. I think the Warriors. I think he could add value to the Warriors because more than likely they'll be based out of Australia again next year, probably out of Redcliffe. So
Okay.
they'll have a similar issue to what they got this year, like players not wanting to come over and spend the year here, which is fair enough. You can see their reasons. So I could see him filling a hole down there, and I think it's a good fit for him because he's from New Zealand, so like culturally, like he gets the background and he'll get the club, and I reckon he could be a good influence on some of the young guys there.
Yeah, for
Speaking
sure.
about the Tigers, them Luke Brooks and Benji Marshall had their best game as a team, I think, since they've played together on Thursday night. 26 to 24, they went down, but they were down 20-0 at one stage, and they ended up fighting their way back into the game. And it was good to see the Tigers show a little bit of backbone, show a little bit of heart for once.
Yeah, no, it was really good to see them play with a little bit of something like a little bit of oomph,
Yeah,
a bit of oomph in him, and
a little bit of oomph.
yeah, a bit of oomph, yeah. But how's Luke Brooks gives one to Dan Gagai right
Yeah.
on the chin.
Speaking
Bring
of some
back the
oomph,
Biff. Yeah,
speaking of
bring
some
back
oomph,
the Biff.
it was
Exactly.
it was actually very funny. I was talking to my wife while we were watching it, and you seen him. He chased him after he threw the ball, and he grabbed him, and he kind of waited for a second, like, "Oh, should I do this? Should I do this?" And then just went pow. So it was really good to watch, and I think everyone kind of erupted a little bit when they saw a punch connect because we don't see it anymore. So it was really good to see. What was better to see was the Tigers just like play well and have a go. Luke Brooks probably had his best game in a year. Like Daly M halfback of the year last year, but hasn't really shown a lot this year. But good signs for the Tigers, and it seems like they're on the verge of signing Adokar now to be their fullback, and Dewey will play in the centres. Who he's looked all right in the centres. We don't know
No,
what
he
Ado. We
looks good.
don't know what Ado Carr is going to be able to do at fullback, but they're getting players to the club. They're trying to make changes. That's all they can do.
Well, good for them.
Another club that needs to get some players to their club is the Bulldogs. Now, let me tell you the story of the Bulldogs night. No, not only their night, their whole season. Right, a lot of effort. Obviously, you can see they're trying, but they had more ball on the weekend. They completed a higher rate. They had the penalty count, which was 11-4 in their favour. Still couldn't get the job done. And that's just where they're at. They just don't have enough points in them at the moment. They don't have enough skill and polish to find the try line.
Yeah, definitely. The Bulldogs did lead early on in the game, 10-0, I think it was. But it easily could have been 20-0. Uh, but Lachlan Lewis, he kind of dropped a couple of passes um, within 10 metres of the Manly try line. Um, but yeah, Manly scored all of their 32 points in a 40-minute period,
Yeah,
believe it
wow.
or not. From the 32nd minute to the 68th minute, so just a little bit under 40 minutes. They led the offload 16-6. Could have played a part in why Manly kind of took over,
Yeah,
um, because four of Manly's six tries were scored. Sorry, by forwards.
yeah. Well, they get a bit of a boost this week. Apparently Tommy's a good chance of making his return this week, so that'll be a big in for him. But like I said, they just had such a horror run with injuries. Cust and Fanua Blake got injured this week, and they lost their other young half last week. I can't even remember his name, but he went
Don't
he
know
went
his name.
down. He's the one. Schuster? Is that it?
That sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
rings a bell.
He went down last week. Cuss went down this week. They need the end of the season. The second game on Friday, the main game you could say was the Panthers Eels. Panthers 20, Eels 2. The Eels tried really hard. You could see they knew that this was a huge game for them. They turned up for each other a lot. I think they kept Penrith scoreless till about 30 seconds to go in the first half, but you
Yeah.
can't win if you don't got the ball, and they only had 36% of the ball the whole game. The Penrith actually had 17 more sets than them, so you're not going to win games like that.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I think Parramatta really struggled to score points in this game. Penrith's defence was on point tonight. I think Parramatta's defence was also pretty good. They held out on their own line for quite some time. It took that last 30 seconds in the first half, for them to go over. But yeah, the score could have easily been 40 points to 2. 5 forced dropouts to none, 7 line breaks to none, and almost 1,000 more running meters. So I thought Parra did well to keep the score as low as it was.
If Parramatta hold on to that top 4 spot, which it's up in the air, it's either them or the Raiders. But if they can hold on to it, they will play Penrith the first week of the semis, which is a huge game for Parra. Like that becomes, you don't want to get bounced out. One team notoriously gets bounced out every year that finishes in the top 4. So, and the Panthers are just so red hot, man. Like they are just killing it. And how about this question without notice? Because whoever wins the first week of the semis, they get the week off, right? Do you think the week off hurts the Panthers more than it helps them? Because they're a young side, they're flying, they don't have injuries, they're playing week to week, they've got a lot of energy. Do you think having a week off might actually hurt them rather than help them?
Wow, I never thought about it like that. I don't think it will make a difference.
You don't reckon?
I really don't. No, I really don't think it will make a difference. If it did make a difference, I think it might be a little bit bad for him.
Yeah, well, that's what. Like you could see a team like the Storm or the Roosters, they would love having a week off because they got some old bodies there, rest up a little bit. But I think it could be an interesting point for the Panthers to see how they react after having a week off. More than likely, they'll be beating the Eels the first week of the semis, but they say the season starts again when the semis start, so we'll see what happens. Another team that's vying for that 4th position is the Raiders. They're now right in contention after beating the Dragons on the weekend, 37-8. Yeah, the Dragons, same old story, 12-8 at halftime. I still don't know why Ben Hunt needs to sit for 20 minutes in a game. Like that just dumbfounds me. But yeah, 12-8 at halftime, and then the Raiders upped the gear, and the Dragons didn't have another gear to go to.
Yeah, the Raiders definitely came out of halftime firing. They've done this a few times actually. They did it to the Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago. I think they were either down or they were just leading, and then the second half comes and they blow the Dogs out of the water. And before that, it was the Broncos, and before that, it was the Roosters back in round 10.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just coming out of halftime. I don't know what's going on in the dressing rooms there, change rooms or whatever, but something's going on because they're coming out of halftime.
Yeah.
And just absolutely blitzing whoever they're versing.
Yeah, but they might have put some extra emphasis on that little 20-minute period after halftime to make sure they bounce in good. Like they might talk about that during the week because that's becoming a pattern. You just mentioned 4 games where they've really taken it to teams straight after halftime and they've end up blowing them away. But I remember about 6 weeks ago, everyone thought the Raiders were gone. They're not gone, man. They're a good side. And they get in that semi-final football, they can beat anyone. They proved it last year. They knocked Melbourne out of the competition, so they can play. All right, last game on Saturday. Let's talk about a team that cannot play, the Brisbane Broncos. Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah.
And they are just hopeless. Like, is this not the worst Brisbane Broncos season or team you've ever seen?
I think they've all been pretty bad.
It's just,
Taking the piss.
I mean, they've only missed the semis once in their history, I think. The Broncos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Surely not.
Yeah, in 25 years, they'd only missed it once before this year. They're actually one of the most successful clubs, considering how short they've been around. They've won 6 premierships. They've got a rich history, and they're a club that's known for success. And right now, they're staring down the barrel of a wooden spoon.
That's no good. Yeah, well, this game was actually the game for our bet of the week. I called this back when we made our tips of the round. I said we were thinking the Broncos were maybe due for a win, and then I said, hold on. When you say that they're due for a win, they'll come out and they'll just disappoint you, which they definitely did this week. It was a fairly close game, kind of. Only one try was scored in the second half. The Titans ran 90-odd metres to score it. But one of the shining lights out of the Broncos, Payne Haas, he bloody chased all the way from the 10-metre line all the way to their own in goal. So
yeah,
that's one positive you can take out of that.
He's been a shining light all year, though. He just gives and gives and gives. I'll run you down the Broncos. They've achieved 4 minor premierships during their 29 years, making them the most successful club over the past 3 decades. Until 2015, they had never been defeated in a grand final, and they'd only failed to make the finals twice in their history. So that's including this year. So, yeah, they're pretty good. They're actually got the second highest win percentage of any team as well, which is 66%, only behind Melbourne Storm.
Of course.
Yeah.
The Storm.
All right, that's one Brisbane team. Now let's go to the other Queensland team, the Titans. They are the best team in Queensland right now, and it's not even close.
Definitely. That's that marks 3 wins in a row for them.
Yeah.
Not sure how long it's been since the last time they won 3 in a row.
No.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But yeah, I'm happy for them. I'm excited to watch them play next season with their new recruits coming in. They've got that gun back rower / front rower from Melbourne, and they've got David Fafita coming in. So I'm keen to see what they can do next season.
Well, that's going to be most likely 2 Queensland State of Origin players coming in, because Fasul Mali will probably play Tino. Tino will probably play Tino will probably play Origin this year, but the Titans, man, it's not even close at the moment. All right, the Roosters smashed the Knights on the weekend, 42-12. The Knights rested a couple players in this one, but once the Roosters get on a roll and they start pumping through the middle, and Teddy's pushing up, playing as if he's playing lock, he's just pushing around the ball everywhere. No team in the world can beat them when they get in that mood where they're just pumping through the middle of the field and they're just rolling. In this one, Sonny Bill over doubled his minutes. He got 33 minutes this week, and he looked good too. He made 20 tackles, run for 100 meters, and had 3 offloads in that. So pretty good.
That's naughty.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. The Roosters came out on fire this game. Scored 5 tries in the first half, all fairly quickly. Easily could have thought this could have been a massive, huge blowout, bigger than what it was already. But obviously something happened. I don't know what happened. But Daniel Tupou brought up his century, scored 100 NRL tries now, which we said was very doable in our last episode. So congrats to him.
Yeah.
Good on him. Not many people can do it.
What was scary in this game was Boy Cordner got another head knock. He'd only just come back from his concussion. They gave him 6 weeks rest, and he just come back and had another concussion this week. Now, Roosters have a history of being very careful around concussions and resting their players. I think we might not see Boyd for a few weeks here again.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, well, they're very, very cautious when it comes, and so they should be. We all know about around concussions and that now, and head injuries. It's very scary stuff. But they're known they'll sit their players. They sat Keary for 6 weeks last year when he had 2 concussions in a row. They just sat Boyd for 6 weeks when he had 2 concussions in a row, and he just got another one. So we'll
Maybe
have to see
not
how that
seen
pans
until
out.
the finals.
Yeah. Well, they will choose the players' health over results, which every team should, which is good to see.
Yeah.
All right, my Cowboys, they played the Storm, and they looked okay. Their defense is what their defense is. It's not great. They probably need to build some combinations in defense and just some. I don't know. They need something, and Todd Payton's going to have to figure that out. I'm not doing his job for him. But their attack looked good. Their attack looked probably the best it's looked in 12 months.
Yeah, it definitely looked decent. I mean, he's scoring 20 points against Melbourne Storm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously you're doing something right. But obviously the league 36 points is no good. Not very good. But here's a sneaky little stat for you, mate. No team has completed above 76% against the Storm since, believe it or not, the Brisbane Broncos in round 11.
Oh, really?
Do you think that's down to Melbourne's defence or just a coincidence?
I think it's probably down to their defense because they just put you under so much pressure. Like they kick you into corners and they make you work out of your own end, and they just shoot off the line, and they just put they attack with their defense, as they say. So yeah, I think it is down to their defense. But the Cowboys are waiting for next year. The Storm, I think if they were really serious about this game, they might have done some damage, but they've probably got one eye on the semi-finals nowadays. The last game of the round. Speaking of the semi-finals, this was the one. This was the game to decide our top 8. And I just thought the Warriors, the first 20 minutes, they just gave away too many penalties. They just didn't give themselves a chance.
Oh, the penalties.
Man, they just everything was on the line. They looked all right. They looked up for it. So did the Sharks, but just way too many penalties, and the race for the top 8's now over. The Sharks will keep that 8th position. They do look like a much better side with Sean Johnson in the team. They look like they have more points in them, but they're going to need to find something else, and quick, if they're going to trouble any of the other 7 teams in the finals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Warriors definitely got the Sharks out of trouble there a lot of times. I think it was 2 sets in a row. They kicked and had the Sharks down, pretty much stuck in their own 20-meter zone, and they just gave away penalties. Just silly penalties.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Warriors did lead 14-12 with about 8 minutes to go. Sharks just finished stronger, looked fresher towards the end, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this one. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter at TrylineYT. Check us out on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, comment. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We're open to suggestions. And just before we go here, I just want to send our condolences to the family of Joel Dark. That's Boyd Cordoner's cousin. He passed away just this last week, and we just want to send our condolences to them from both me and Benny from the Tryline podcast. So, yeah, wishing you all the best. And we'll see you next time, guys.